Okay, Garth, thanks for doing this.
Welcome.
So I just wanted to ask, before you tried this therapy, before you came to see me, how long did you wait before making the decision?
Well, my decision didn't take a long time because I was in some extreme pain.
Mm-hmm.
And the normal, well, not the normal, but the standard things weren't working. So
Mm-hmm.
this is, most people haven't heard of this. I hadn't heard of it before, but when I did, I thought, that sounds good, I'll give it a try.
Okay. Could you say a little bit more about the situation and how and what you heard about my work?
Yeah, I had a problem. I had to go to the emergency room, had a lot of things that were really hurting. And my wife, while I was just laying there crying or whatever, did the research. She looked on the internet, she went through a lot of things, and in her course, I don't know her exact path to get there,
Mm-hmm.
but she found out, and she'd been calling a lot of people, and some people weren't really excited to help me given all my problems, but she talked to you and found out more what it was, and she thought that would be good and explained it to me, and so I said, yeah, that sounds like that would be good.
Okay, and we haven't said it yet. We're talking about myofascial release.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
And what had you tried? And I know it's a personal situation. You're kind of not wanting to talk about it, but
Yeah.
and I don't want to have you do that. But what had you tried, and what were you dealing with?
Really, this happened, I guess it took a while to happen, but I didn't realize it was happening. And then all of a sudden it came to a crisis. And so really my only real try was the medical community.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the things that they wanted me to do, they actually told me that this, how can I explain this? They said, here's the diagnosis, and we want you to do this procedure. But that procedure doesn't take care of what the diagnosis is. And so I was confused. Why are you telling me to do this if you know it's not gonna help my condition?
Mm-hmm.
And so we decided to look further, to look, explore other possibilities. And that's why my wife was doing all the research and looking for this. So I hadn't tried a lot of other things just because they weren't logical.
Okay. So what about myofascial release drew you to try it?
I had parts of me weren't working properly, or they were inflamed, or they weren't where they should be. And understanding about the body, I'm not a doctor or anything, but just thinking about how the body works and how it was explained to me is that it would release places that had been stuck, and that was part of my problem, that some things were stuck and other things didn't move like they should, or kind of out of place. So I thought, well, that makes sense to me, that the myofascial release can get me back working. And I'm getting older and things get a little stiff sometimes, and I thought, well, that'd be a great way to get unstiff, to get limber again, to move like I wanted to.
Okay. So let's see. And I'm just looking through the questions. We've already kind of dealt with them. How bad was it? Emergency room
It
bad.
was very bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And how had it been getting up to that point? It wasn't just all of a sudden emergency room, was it?
No. I had noticed some changes in my body, but I just thought, I'm just getting old. And I just accepted it because people in general talk about these things. Oh yeah, once you get older, it starts to happen and all that. And so I kind of ignored it, quite frankly. I ignored the signs, even though I recognized them
Mm-hmm.
until all of a sudden it did become a crisis. And then thinking back, you go, wow, I had all sorts of signs that this was coming.
So thinking back, looking back, how long had you been seeing and ignoring those signs? And go ahead.
Probably, I'd seen some early signs even a couple of years ago, so it had been years. I saw the progression of it getting really bad was probably over 6 months
Mm-hmm.
that I really did notice it. So for 6 months.
So what made you ignore it? What made you not take action?
A number of things, like I said, people saying, well, you're just getting old.
Mm-hmm.
And I shouldn't have, but I guess I bought into that. I'm just getting old, and I could deal with it. And I guess, like most people, change is difficult, even if it's a change for the better.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes some time and effort to find out what's wrong and to get a way to improve it.
For sure, especially with all the different contradictory advice out there.
Yes, and my wife did the research on this, and there's so much out there, and you really have to think about it. And everybody puts it forth as if this is the panacea for everything.
So imagine somebody else is in your situation. I mean, hopefully they've not gotten to the ER and having a life-threatening situation yet, but imagine somebody else is in that situation. What would you tell them about the options and about myofascial release? How might it help them? What would they need to hear?